What up, what up, what up? Of course, it's me, your boy, Richie Rich at Consumer Appliance Support. Shoot another awesome video, cause that's what we do. Man, what's up, what's up, what's up? You know, at Consumer Appliance Support, we review appliances. Today, we're gonna focus on the LG side-by-side refrigerator. You're looking at it right now, man, as you can see the video behind me. This portion of the video, we're gonna focus on the functions and the features. All right, what can this appliance do? What's some of the bells and whistles? And we're gonna dive into that, and let's get it right now. All right, of course, when you're looking at the refrigerator right now, again, you can get this appliance with the InstaView, where you're able to knock on the door and the light comes on. You can see inside the refrigerator without actually opening the door. Again, it does look like a refrigerator with 4 doors, but it is a side-by-side refrigerator. This one here has the door and door feature as well, so you can actually get it with the InstaView or with the door and door. All right, and that's what we're gonna do, dissect this appliance, man. Let's find out exactly what can it do. All right, so we're gonna go into the owner's manual before we actually let this video finish. So of course, this is the owner's manual to the side-by-side LG refrigerator. Of course, you have the model number that you see there as well, so you can depend on the model that you have. Of course, it all depends on the different features it might have in your appliance as well. All right, of course, we go into the table of contents and we're gonna just scroll through some of this information. Of course, always remember important safety instructions. Read all instructions before use. You wanna do that. All right, of course, they have warnings, installations, and stuff like that. That's not necessarily for you because you know you're not the one installing, but if you are, of course, you can read that as well. All right, so you don't know. Operations, different stuff. We're not going to really focus on that. Maintenance, disposal, ground instructions. So all this is going to be in the description box as well. So we're just basically trying to go to the product overview so that we can talk about this appliance as soon as we can. All right, so it says product features. It says the images in this guide may be different from the actual components and accessories. It says which are subject to change by the manufacturer without prior notice for product improvement purposes. Exterior says this feature is only available on some models. All right, so like we talked about, of course, the one to my left, that's the one that's the door and door, and the one to my right, that is the InstaView. All right, so if you're looking at this appliance, of course, you have your dispenser control panel, your filter and water dispenser. Again, we talk about the door and door. Number 4 talks about the door and door lever. It says opens and door. You have the InstaView, that's number 5, so we're going to go into that as well. And of course, you have the interior of the appliance, and that's one of the things that we really want to focus on, just to give you the overall view of what it looks like in the owner's manual. So this is the appliance, and this is what it looks like as far as this is the door and door, and of course, you have your model number on top. All right, so let's dive into that. Also, it has the standard door model. All right, so that's the standard door model as well, depending on which model you have. That is up to you. The InstaView model, so it's a little bit different depending on the model that you have. So we're gonna work with both of them simultaneously, trying to give you a little bit of this and a little bit of that, so you'll be able to know exactly what you're getting into. Of course, number 1, you got your LED, you got your temperature sensor, you got automatic ice maker, craft ice. All right, so you have that in this particular appliance. You have your regular standard ice, crushed cube, and you can also get craft ice. This is about this big. LG is really the only appliance right now on the market that actually deals with craft ice. So this is one of their specialties. So when you're dealing with LG appliances, they might throw this in there on the model depending on which one you purchase. All right, so you have your freezer shelf. All right, that's number 5. Of course, your shelving in the freezer, so you can adjust that depending on how much stuff you want to put in there. It says store frozen foods such as meat, fish, and ice cream. It says to freeze food items quickly. Store the food on a shelf other than the top shelf. Food items will freeze most quickly on the shelf except for the top shelf. All right, good. All right, so that's something that we all can learn. Freezer door bin, store small packages of frozen food. Do not store ice cream or food which will be stored for a long period of time. All right, you have your freezer drawer, stores frozen food for longer storage. Your fridge shelf, it says stores refrigerated foods and fresh foods. It says store foods with higher moisture content at the front of the shelf. All right, so these are a couple things that you want to consider. Adjust the shelf height by inserting the shelf in another groove at a different height. And it says the actual number of shelves will differ from model to model. All right, and of course you have your French door bin, small packages of refrigerated foods, drinks, and sauce containers, and of course your product overview, control panel, fridge drawer, bottom drawer, door and door compartment, and of course the InstaView as well. It says knock twice, so we're going to show you exactly how that is if you're not quite familiar with it. LG is the one that started off with this InstaView, and of course you got the product specifications. I'm not going to go into that because we want to go into the appliance. All right, so I think we're starting at on page 24, something like that, what I have in my notes. So we got to rock and roll, man, and get much of this stuff done as possible. So watch your eyes as we go into this unit. All right, so we're gonna allow this appliance to roll. Of course, this is a smart appliance as well. LG is famous for the smart diagnostic. So when we get to that portion of this functions and features, we want to talk about it. We're going to discuss it some so that you'll be able to see it and know exactly what you're getting yourself into. All right, so let's let that joint roll for a second. So as we talked about, this is the freezer section. Of course, you have your craft ice. That's the bin, right? So you have the ice maker in the back for the craft ice there. So we can actually dive into that a little bit. And of course, this is the freezer, how it look. You have your different shelves and how you want to adjust it. Remember, you don't want to put the stuff on the top shelf because it doesn't freeze as much there. So you want to be careful with that as well. So you can make the adjustment depending on how tall the food is, how much stuff you're putting in there. You really don't want to overfill or overpack the refrigerator. It's the more stuffy it is, the more packed it is. It's difficult for the air to circulate and keep your stuff frozen. All right, so you want to keep that in mind as well. And then it's hard for the door to close. That could affect the gasket. So there's a lot of things that take place when you overstuff a refrigerator. You know, that don't allow it to cool properly. All right, so of course this is your refrigerator side. So we can dive into some of this real quick. Go into the craft ice. We'll get into the rest of that. So we could dive into the craft ice. It says craft ice. It says press craft ice button repeatedly to toggle between 3, 6, and off modes. It says after 5 seconds of idle time, the last mode will be saved and display will return to normal. To turn off the ice maker, select the off. To turn off the craft ice maker, select the 3. Turn on the craft ice maker, select 3 ice or 6 ice. So that's the amount of ice that you can get. Because it's so big, you can only get it in 3 or 6. All right, it says note, for more ice, select 6 ice mode. For clearer ice, select the 3 ice mode. All right, so we already discussed this is a smart appliance as well, so we're going to get into all that. I just want to make sure that we discuss everything that we needed to talk about so that we can get this appliance going, man, and just dive into that. And of course, this is the door where the ice maker is. Right, it's a space ice system. So you have an ice maker system here, and you also have one inside the freezer as well. So you can get 2 different forms of ice depending on who you're entertaining, what type of entertainment, what type of ice you would like. I think that's pretty slick to give you that many options. So, all right, we really like that joint. So we're gonna let the video roll real quick as we dive into this joint, man. Again, we're focusing on the functions and the features. All right, so again, this is the ice maker part of it. So in this video, I actually remove the ice maker so you can actually see it. So we can actually dive into the ice maker in the door, and we're gonna talk about a little bit more in the craft ice as well. But I just wanted the video to actually roll so that you can actually see it. Me removing the ice maker, you can see that there as well. Of course, that's the ice maker there. You have your auger motor there that allows your ice to spin when you hit the dispenser, gives you crush, gives you cube. Then of course it goes into the chute, and that's where you get the ice through the refrigerator door. All right, so I'm putting it back. So let's dive into the video real quick so that we can get some ice. All right, so let's talk about the ice maker, ice and water dispenser. All right, so we're gonna get into the ice real quick. That's on page 27. So there's a couple things that they want you to do. It says indoor ice bin. Before using the indoor ice bin, the ice maker stops producing ice when the indoor ice bin is full. To make room for additional ice, empty the ice bin into another location in the freezer compartment during use. The ice may stack unevenly in the bin, causing the ice maker to misread the number of ice cubes and stop producing ice. It says shaking the ice bin to level the ice within it can reduce this problem. All right, of course, a couple things they want you to do or not to do, so we can actually focus on that real quick. Detaching and assembling in the ice door bin only qualifies service personnel from LG Electronic Service Center could disassembly or repair the ice maker. All right, this is when handling the ice bin, keep hands away from ice maker tray area to avoid personal injury. All right, avoid touching the auto shut off. It says a feeler arm when replacing the ice bin. All right, so you want to be careful with that. It says to detach. We already showed you how to do that. Lift the ice storage bin slightly and pull it out as shown in the figure. All right, it says use both hands to remove the ice maker bin to avoid dropping it. All right, because those can be pretty expensive as well. All right, so here we are, ice maker automatic, so we can get into that real quick. It says automatic ice maker, says do not place fingers, so we just talked about that, so we can move on. Before using the indoor ice maker, it says ice is made in an automatic indoor ice maker and set to the dispenser. The ice maker produced 70 to 182 cubes in 24-hour period, depending on the freezer compartment, temperature, room temperature, number of door openings, and other operating condition. It says it takes up to 12 to 24 hours for a newly installed refrigerator to begin making ice. We normally would say it would take about 72 hours for it to fill the whole entire basket. When it does make the first batch of ice, we suggest that you dump it because it's a new refrigerator, so you just want to make sure that you dump the first batch of ice that it makes, and then you can just start from fresh. All right, so it says ice making stops when the indoor ice bin is full. When full, the indoor ice bin holds approximately 6 to 8 or 12 to 16 ounce glasses of ice. All right, it says foreign substance or frost on the ice detecting sensor can interrupt ice production. Make sure the sensor is clean at all times for proper operation. All right, so you want to keep that in mind. There is a sensor at the bottom of the ice maker. You always want to make sure that's not being impeded, that's not broken off, it's not disconnected from the ice maker. If it is, it doesn't communicate with the ice maker, so you want to be careful with that. All right, it says to increase ice production, use the Ice Plus function. All right, it says this function increases both ice making and freezing capabilities. All right, so the LG has that one as well. I know KitchenAid has a similar feature to that, so that's good to know that a lot of these manufacturers are trying to make ice really fast, because a lot of people like ice. Ice is cool. I'm not a really big ice guy. All right, you know, I normally buy all my drinks cold, and if not, I'll just throw it in the freezer real quick and just wait. But you know, not a really big ice guy. But let's get it. Before using the freezer ice maker, the freezer is only available on some models. The feature may be very dependent on the model's purchase, so you always want to keep that stuff in mind. All right, like I discussed here, note, throw away the first bin full of ice after installation. This is also necessary if the refrigerator has not been used for a long time. All right, ice maker begins producing ice approximately 48 hours after the appliance is initially installed. The sound of ice dropping into the bin is normal, so you want to keep that in mind as well. All right, if the ice bin is completely filled with ice production will stop. All right, that's cool. The amount and shape of ice may vary according to the environment, ambient temperature around the appliance. Frequently, for the door being open, amount of food stored in the appliance, of course, and always water pressure. That's why you got to make sure that you replace your filter. You got to make sure that when your refrigerator is installed, you have enough water pressure so that you have it can make ice full, because there's times when the ice can be real small. That's a sign that your pressure could be low, and it could be coming from your water filter being needed to be replaced, or the water filter or the water coming into the refrigerator could be bad, or it could be a defective water valve in your refrigerator, because it could be multiple things. All right, refrigerator, it says freezer ice maker craft ice. This feature is only available on some models, so you do have this model here. Number one is talking about the feeler arm that we discussed earlier. This is what it looks like, and of course this is what craft ice look like. You see here these big balls of ice. I really like that. That's pretty slick. It says do not insert round ice in the indoor ice bin, as it can damage the ice and water dispenser. All right, we talked about the ice maker begins producing ice approximately 48 hours after the appliance is initially installed. All right, so we talked about that a lot. So we're going to go back to the video so that we can allow this video to roll. Man, so we're comfortable with the ice maker, with the craft ice, or with your standard ice maker coming through the door. Now we're going to deal with the dispenser, and we're going to roll to page 25 according to my information here. So we're going to go back up real quick so we can dive into the dispenser. All right. And of course you can turn your ice maker on and off. It says press and hold the on and off button for 3 seconds to turn the indoor ice maker on and off. All right, so you have that option there. Of course, you have a lock feature, and of course you have notes and all that other stuff that you can read from here, as well as you can pause the video. But we're going to focus on the dispenser control panel. So if you look, you have 3 options with the dispenser. It's water and ice type. So it says select the desired dispenser mode from the buttons on the dispenser control panel. From left to right, the icons indicate cubed ice, water, and crushed ice. All right, so you have 3 forms of ice you can get on this machine. Man, we really like that. That's really good. It says press the dispenser switch with a glass or other container to dispense cubed ice, water, or crushed ice. It says when the refrigerator is in the power saving mode, the display remains off until a door is open or a button is pressed. Once on, the display remains on for 20 seconds. All right, so that's another option there. It also has Sabbath mode, so we'll get into all of this. We just want to make sure that we talk about the dispenser here as well. Ice and water dispenser says before using the ice and water dispenser, caution. It says keep children away from the dispenser. Children may play with or damage the controls. It says throw away the first bin. We talked about that as well. Dispense and throw away 2.5 gallons of water. Flush for approximately 5 minutes after installation. And this is talking about when you're replacing the water filter, because you want to make sure that the water filter, all the stuff that's filtrated through the filter, comes out of the filter, goes through the dispenser, so it's clean when it's time to make ice and stuff like that. All right, it says do not dispense the entire 2.5 gallon amount continuously. Press and release the dispenser pad for cycles of 30 seconds on and 60 seconds off. This is also necessary if the refrigerator has not been used for a long time. All right, so you want to think about that. If ice or water dispenser unexpectedly turn off, it says the water supply and contact. It says if ice and water dispenser unexpectedly turn off, the water supply and contact an LG Electronics Customer Information Center. All right, so you can contact LG, they'll be able to help you out. All right, so this is what we have here. It says press the icon for the desired dispenser mode. The LED over the selected icons turn on. So you're going to see that. We're going to show you that in the video as well. That's for the desired icon, depending on what it is that you want. If you want water, if you want cube ice, if you want crushed ice, it's the same exact thing. And it also have a cleaner, which is something that is unique to LG right now. It says cleaning the dispenser. It says cleaning the ice and water outlet. Wipe the water outlet or ice outlet frequently with a clean cloth, as it may get dirty easily. Note, this is lint from a cloth may adhere to the outlets. The UV cleaner function runs automatically for 10 minutes every hour to clean the dispenser outlet. Press and hold the self-care button for 3 seconds to manually activate it. All right, so again, you're going to be able to see that as well. The UV clean function, self-care, that you can actually turn on with your LG refrigerator. All right, another thing here, it says cleaning the dispenser tray. You want to make sure you clean the dispenser tray because there's always sometimes drips of water and it builds up. So when it builds up, it actually deteriorates the machine because it's water. So if water residue is sitting there, it can actually damage the dispenser tray. Now it can also damage your door and cause your door to rust from where the dispenser and the water is dripping at. So you can actually see that as well. So it's always good to get that stuff up. If there's water spilled, get it up as fast as you can. That will make sure that your refrigerator will last a long time. It says wipe the entire area with a damp cloth. The dispenser tray may become wet easily due to spilled ice or water. All right, like I said there. Locking the ice and water dispenser. It says press and hold the lock button for 3 seconds to lock the dispenser, and all the control panel functions follow the same instructions to unlock. All right, so we discussed that, and now we're going to actually show you the actual video, because we went through all the ice maker, everything else there. Yeah, we already did everything that you see there. And like I said, you can see me pressing the buttons, selecting different between cube, between crush, and between cubed, crushed ice and water. It all depends on what it is that you want. And there's the UV nano, right? So that's the me pressing in on the dispenser, but you can actually see the UV nano that they explain that cleans every for 10 minutes for every hour. So you can actually select the self-care as well. All right, so that's pretty cool there. All right, so that's the InstaView door. When you knock on the door, you're able to see on the inside of the refrigerator without actually opening the door. You always want to be careful opening the door all the time. That takes away from the refrigerator temperature inside the refrigerator. So you want to be super careful with that. You want to try to maintain the refrigerator temperature as much as you can and try not to open the door as often as you can. So that's why you have these added features from these different manufacturers, because it helps. All right, it really do help. All right, so that's cool there. All right, so of course when you knock it, it goes back out. All right, so you can use that. So we try to give you as much as we can when we shoot these videos, so you be able to get an idea of what it is that you're looking at. We try to be as detailed as much as we can. Here's the lever to open the door. All right, so you can actually see the door and door. All right, so this is another refrigerator, same refrigerator, just a different feature that you have here where you can actually reach stuff right there in the refrigerator instead of opening the whole entire door. All right, so that is good there. So we really like that feature. GE also has these features, so you can see that LG makes different appliances and they put their name on it. So I've seen that before, so you want to be careful. So even though you might not like an LG product, it could be made by LG but has a different brand on there. All right, so they do that all the time. All right, so you can see there we tried again trying to get you as much information as possible so that you'll be able to see what you're getting. All right, and of course you have your water filter on top here. Here's your LED light, of course, and we love the stainless steel in the back. That helps with cooling. The metal allows you to your food to be a lot colder because of the metal. The metal absorb a lot of, metal keeps cold a lot, so that's what it's there for. All right, so that helps. Then of course you can glass shelves, right? So you got glass shelves that you can actually put your stuff in. So we can talk about that a little bit. We talked about the InstaView door. I didn't want to miss that. On my notes here, I do have the InstaView door, so we can talk about that a little bit. But you see how it works, how it operates, stuff like that. So let's see what we got. All right, knock twice on the glass door to turn the LED light inside the InstaView on or off. The LED light turns off automatically after 10 seconds. Note, the LED light does not turn on if either door is open. All right, so that's another thing. The InstaView function will not activate for 2 seconds after closing the door. The InstaView function is disabled when the ice dispenser is in use. All right, some models have the door and door. All right, it says this feature is only available in some models. The door and door compartment allows for easy access to commonly used food items, like we just discussed. Door and door compartment, door bins, right? So you see that there. The door bins are removable for easy cleaning and adjustment. All right, so cool. And we talked about the different shelvings. We've seen the glass shelves as well. So we're gonna go into the refrigerator portion of this joint. So we're gonna let this joint roll, man. So we're gonna let this joint rock. All right, so let's make it go. So this is the refrigerator, and again, you can adjust the shelves depending on how much stuff you have in there. You also have a water tank in the back of that as well that allows your refrigerator to dispense water to your refrigerator as well. So you want to keep that in mind. All right, another added feature that's been around for a long time, so that when your refrigerator gets water, so I can actually go to it, right? Water tank. All right, so this is where when you're able to dispense water from the refrigerator and it's cold because it's already sitting inside of the refrigerator. So by the time you get the water, it's already cold. So there's a water tank. You can have either the water tank. So there's different ones. You can have an actual tank, or you can have the water line just wrapped up in like a rope, and that still is allow it to be cold, and it still allow water to get to there, so you can have the proper amount of water and it can be cold. All right, so that's where that is. All right, so it says use both hands to remove and assemble drawers. The compartment is heavy when filled with food and may cause injury if dropped. Open refrigerator doors fully when removing or assembling drawers. So they're telling you that. It says you will see the water tank while removing the fresh zone drawer. It says do not remove the water tank or water leakage may occur. the water tank is not a removable part. All right, so just had to get that in there because I didn't want to miss that. All right, just want to make sure we talk about everything that we possibly can to make it easier for you when you're watching these videos, man, because this is what we do here. All right, so we're gonna let that rock for a second. Keep it going. This is where you communicate with the refrigerator. Again, we're gonna pause this. Of course, it's a smart appliance as well. Talking about the thin Q, right? That's on page 33. We got smart functions, so we can dive into this. Of course, when you're dealing with LG, it's called the LG Thin Q application or app. It says this feature is available, only available in models with Wi-Fi. The LG Thin Q application allows you to communicate with the appliance using a smartphone. LG Thin Q application features Smart Learner. It says provides a more personalized experience based on analysts or your usage patterns. Man. Smart Sabbath. It says activates or deactivates the Sabbath mode and sets the schedule for the mode activation. Wow, different. That is smart. That is tough. I like that. All right, energy monitoring. It says the feature keeps track of your refrigerator power consumption and the number of door openings. Man, if they had this back in the day when we was kids, we could open the door all the time and go into the refrigerator, we used to get beatings for that. But now I'm sure it's a little bit different. All right, remote control. We talk about this, a small appliance as well. Controls the refrigerator temperature, air filter, and Ice Plus from the Smart app. Push messages. It says if the door remains open for more than 10 minutes, you will receive a push message. When Ice Plus is finished, you will receive a push message. That's pretty pretty tight. Really allows you to communicate with the refrigerator and let you know that, hey, the door is open, blah, blah, blah. That's really slick. Smart diagnostic. We talk about that as well. It says this function provides useful information for diagnostics and solving issues with the appliance based on the pattern of use. All right, settings, of course, allow you to set various options on the refrigerator in the application. It says this feature is only available on some models. All right, so again, these are different features, functions you can use before using the LG Thin Q app, all that stuff as well. You have that there, smart functions. All right, so it's telling you exactly how to do it, what to look for, how to register, connecting on the Wi-Fi. All right, so this is stuff that we can actually stop. Of course, you want to make sure it's also let you know it's FCC radiation exposure statement, right? So when you're dealing with Wi-Fi, you got to think about that. The proper place that is installed in, that plays a difference as well when you're dealing with an appliance that deals with Wi-Fi, so that all of that plays a part. So you want to consider that as well. All right, so we're going to let this joint roll, and we're going to talk about the rest of this refrigerator. Let's get it. All right, so we're going to discuss page 23. Let's dive on my notes. I'm looking at page 23 to really get into what are some of these features that it has here that we just discussed. All right, so let's look at it. Control panel says, depending on the model, some of the following functions may not be available. The actual control panel might differ from model to model. All right, it says this feature is only available on some models. So if you're looking at this refrigerator, of course, this is your refrigerator settings. One for the refrigerator, one's for the freezer. You also have your water filter that you can actually reset. You have your freezer when we talked about the self-care with the UV nano. You got craft ice, you got Wi-Fi, you got your smart grid or grid on. Of course, we talked about the Ice Plus or ice on and off. And of course, you have your control lock. All right, so these are some of the functions and features that you have here. So we can dive into that when we're discussing this appliance. Of course, remember when you see the little star icon that's telling you there's different options, there's multiple options that you can actually use, and it also tells you hold it for 3 seconds, so you can actually see that as well. All right, so that's going to help you. All right, so let's dive into this. It says refrigerator indicates the set temperature of the refrigerator compartment in Celsius or Fahrenheit. The default refrigerator temperature is 37 degrees Fahrenheit or 3 degrees Celsius. Press the refrigerator button repeatedly to select the new set temperature from 33 degrees Fahrenheit to 43 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, it says no, to change the temperature mode from Fahrenheit to Celsius or vice versa, press and hold the refrigerator and freezer button simultaneously for approximately 5 seconds. The temperature indicator on display switches between Celsius and Fahrenheit. The display temperature is the temperature, and it says the display temperature is the target temperature and not the actual temperature of the refrigerator. The actual refrigerator temperature depends on the food inside the refrigerator. All right, so we can actually talk about replacing the filter. Replace the water filter. When it replaces the filter, icons turns on. After replacing the water filter, press and hold the water filter button for 3 seconds to turn the icon light off. Replace the water filter approximately when? Every 6 months. All right, so you want to do that, and your refrigerator is smart enough to remind you to let you know when to replace it. Freezer indicates the temperature of freezer compartment in Celsius or Fahrenheit. The default freezer temperature is 0. All right, that's 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Press the freezer button repeatedly to select the temperature, of course, from -7 degrees to 5 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so you have Celsius as well, but we deal with Fahrenheit here. Self-care, it says UV light is used to keep the water outlet clean. UV clean function run, we talked about that already, approximately for 10 minutes every hour, or it can be manually activated at any time. Press and hold this button for 3 seconds to activate it manually. All right, talk about the smart grid, talk about Wi-Fi, talk about Ice Plus. All right, that's another feature there that you can use. This function increased both ice making and freezing capability. All right, so we talked about that as well. Talking about the ice being on and off, you can do that. Of course, you have the lock feature as well. All right, it says display mode, you have that, and that's for in the stores. So a lot of the stuff we've already discussed, we've already talked about. Got the Sabbath mode. I don't think we really went too far into that. Using the Sabbath mode is used on the Jewish Sabbath and holidays. To turn on Sabbath mode, touch the display to activate it, then press and hold the freezer and Wi-Fi button for 3 seconds until SB appears in the display. To turn Sabbath mode off manually, press and hold the freezer and Wi-Fi button for 3 seconds. All right, it says Sabbath mode automatically turn off after 96 hours. Once turned on, Sabbath mode is maintained even after a power outage. Selecting Sabbath mode automatically turns off the alarm functions. All right, the dispenser and InstaView are disabled in Sabbath mode on applicable models. All right, so I finally got that word, man. I've been working on that applicable, man. I finally got that thing. Knock that thing out of there. All right, so that is mostly it. You can see all the functions and features here, man. So we're gonna allow this video to roll. Again, man, this is LG's side-by-side refrigerator, man. You can see, you can have it with the InstaView door or the door-in-door, whatever options that you would like, whatever option you select, it is all up to you. We are actually wrapping up with the functions and features. I'm hoping, man, you guys will be able to see this refrigerator and see how nice it is, see how many functions and features it might have. Of course, it's me, your boy Richie Rich, man. Don't forget, always subscribe to the channel. I'm out of here, man. You already know it's me, your boy Richie Rich. At Consumer Prime Support. You help me, I help you. We both help each other. Till next time, I'm out of here, man. Peace. When you kept on mixing, that boy stayed icy with something that left you colorblind. Mind your own, don't come for mine. That other stuff be borderline. I'm on a different time, yo. You better get your watch fixed before the clock tick. I'm the one that they acknowledge. I move on quicker than flight mileage. Y'all stay pressed, I'm quite polished. You peep me with my flight garments. They say the real can't tarnish. Daily eats with the garnish and some bomb weed that got my eyes starfish. Keep a list of goals to accomplish. Leave my past in a rear view. This bliss so loud I can't even hear you. So heard you. Don't say nothing when I hit a curve. You sip my tea like it's herbal. Watch it come back full circle. Knew this life was eternal when I hopped over hurdles. I so universal. You see me with my circle. Yeah, you see me.